Hello folks, Crystal Cox here, and I want to talk to you today about being your own media, give you some tips on how to get your story told. It's really hard to get media on issues of corruption. As you know, if you've Googled my name or found me, odds are if you're watching this video, you know that I am an anti-corruption blogger and that the courts say I am not a journalist, okay? And the reason I'm not a journalist is probably because I'm barefoot. See? Okay, I'm funny. It's called anti-corruption comedy. Apparently, the First Amendment does not apply to me, and the reason it doesn't is because, see, it applies to people doing porn parody. It applies to people hating and picketing and going against the gays, going against the military people, and just whatever hate that's out there. You have First Amendment rights. But it does not apply to those of you out there that expose corruption. Now, there's an actual court opinion that says that. It's not a comedy, seriously, even though I do corruption comedy too. Well, there's a court opinion that says the First Amendment does not apply to me. Now, the reason the First Amendment does not apply to me in this opinion is because I'm not media. Okay, I'm not a journalist. Even though there's no license to be a journalist, there's no law. They say there's some sort of ethics and standards you have to abide by. Well, do you think all journalists and mainstream media actually apply by these? No, they don't. The actual laws get violated, of course, every day. These judges completely ignore the law, and those of us out there who have blogs who are trying to expose corrupt judges, expose corrupt attorneys, expose corruption in general, the First Amendment is not our right. Now, this gets shut down in small courts all the time. Judges shut down blogs that expose corruption. But what happened with my case is I actually got the judge to pretty much rule on whether or not I was media, rule that the Shield Law does not apply to me, so I'm not allowed to protect my sources, I'm not allowed to report on the news really at all because I'm not, a journalist or associated with any newspaper, even though it's pretty easy to get a license to be a newspaper. You just go and get a DBA and you get some money and you have a newspaper printed and you put it on the shelves. Could probably do it in a week, maybe even a few days, depending on what kind of publishing system you used. I could have done that at any time in my life. I've had probably 50 businesses in my life. So the point is that shield laws, retraction laws, the First Amendment, free speech rights do apply to me. It's just that when it comes to corruption or those who want to protect the corrupt, it doesn't apply to me. So in my case, there's an actual court ruling that the First Amendment does not apply to me. So my platform, if you will, at this point is to show all of you how every single one of you are media. I'm going to make sure that this is still recording. And that you're all journalists now. You know, I think it's Scott Gant, G-A-N-T, a book. You should read that one. It's called We're All Journalists Now. It was basically the journalist community, the legal community has scoffed at it, but we are, okay? The internet makes us all media. We're all publishing something, we all have a free press, and yeah, some of us can lie, we can post bad recipes, we can post good recipes, we can post the truth, we can post comedy, parody, whatever we want. We're still media. Just like the television's media, right? The television news is a joke, really. The AP press is one person and then it's broadcast everywhere, the same story. They don't investigate it. They just report it, they're just talking it through their mouth like actors. They're not journalists, but they're protected as journalists, right? Because they're spouting the news from one person that did the AP press article. Now you have sitcoms on TV, you have documentaries, you have reality shows, you have all kinds of things, and that's media, right? But if you have a blog and you have tons of documents that prove an attorney violated the law or violated ethics, your blog calls an attorney, for example, a thug, a thief, and a liar, like mine did, you have videos of proof of both sides talking about things, you have video depositions, you have transcripts of depositions, hearings, everything that I reported on the Summit bankruptcy for years. If you have all of that, you really are the authority on that case, not some television AP 2-second spot that picks up a bunch of hearsay. Did you do it? Nope. Did you do it? Nope. And then they type whatever story they want, and that's the news, and that's protected in the courts. Now, that's not right, of course. You know the story. You are media on this story. Now, this could be your own child custody case. It could be something to do with family law. It could be a bankruptcy corruption. It could be corrupt commissioners. It could be a massive GMO poisoning issue. It could be a paper mill poisoning the air. It could be water being polluted. It could be corrupt cops, corrupt judges. It could be any sort of corruption at all. It could be an accident on the highway. If you see it and you know the details, then you're the best source of news on that topic. Now, what would we want to hear it from? You? Or somebody that just kind of called everybody and got a piece of it? When you're the eyewitness, or you've been studying it for years, you give links to documents of proof. You are the news on that particular topic. Say you've been working for a corporation for a decade, and you know some stuff about it, right? You report on it, you're a whistleblower, you're the best source of news from that perspective, and you're posting documents of proof. Now, this is completely outside of malicious defamation. I mean, Forbes magazine, Mark Rondazza, NPR, Tracy Conan, the New York Times, David Carr, they've all done malicious defamation against me. Flat out malicious lies to discredit me. Okay, what I did was certainly not malicious, and it was not extortion. It was not anything to do with any of that. It was simply me as a real estate broker reporting on a 1031 exchange company, which is a tax-based company that affects all real estate agents and all real estate consumers. So I had an opinion about it. I'm an industry expert. You know, I've owned my own real estate company for 14 years. And through that, I met the woman that was the insider, the whistleblower on the case. Well, I didn't meet her until right before my court case, but I met her kind of the phone, email, and I got information from her. I got information from creditors, investors, transcripts, hearings, and I did this for 3 years. So I was basically an authority on that case. Now, I read SEC reports like with UMCA, I read lawsuits, I read all of the other news out there on it, you know, with the Oregonian, and I formed opinions, and I called people names, and I cursed, and I posted documents of proof, and mostly I gave links to the source, which for some reason they didn't sue the source, they sued me. Now, they knew for years that I had been reporting on the Summit bankruptcy, and they knew why. They had deposed the whistleblower, the insider, and asked her what it was that was my motive, you know, and basically they knew that I was just trying to get her heard. So 3 years after they deposed her in video, and I have that on my website, and asked her who Crystal Cox was, they sued me, okay? And then they made it seem in big media for the whole world to see that, well, I just started these blogs so that I could one day, 3 years later, after they filed a $10 million lawsuit against me, ask for $2,500 a month, right? Meanwhile, I had already spent thousands and thousands of dollars a year, every few months or whatever, on domain names and phone calls and PR and whatever to try to help these victims to get, you know, justice. Anyway, this video is not really about my case, but I'm just trying to give you a perspective of where I'm coming from. You need to do PR, media, newscasting, journalistic, whatever, on your own case, okay? Whatever it is you're reporting on, you have a right to do that. You have a free speech right to report on corruption. You have really an obligation to society to tell us your story. And you certainly have a right to do so. What ends up happening is you folks out there start one blog, you get sued, you get shut down. Some of you get put in mental institutes, some of you get put in jail. Some of your kids get taken away, some of you get killed, some of your family members get killed. Bad things happen when you tell the truth. See, because the truth is criminal when you're working in this system of things. And it's also something that is not treated as a First Amendment right. Okay, so I want to give you tips on how to be your own media, because you are media, you are a journalist, and that doesn't mean that you're going to say, oh, well, I'm doing stories all the time. You're not paid to write the news, so you're actually really even a better source, right? Because you're not being paid. And so you're less jaded. You're not being paid by advertising dollars of politicians or corporations or big media. So you actually really are real news by the people, for the people. But we won't go into that too much. So this video is about giving you some tips on where to start in being your own media. And sorry I keep checking to see if it's recording, but I've lost my tripod and my good camera, and I don't really know if it's shutting off on me, so I need to keep checking. And on that note, I'm going to check now before I get into my next spiel here. Okay, so basically, when you folks start a blog, you have good intention, or you start a Facebook page, and it's all good. You build it over years, sometimes months, whatever, and it gets shut down by a court order. It could get shut down by somebody lying on Facebook and saying that you are impersonating them, or just all manner of craziness that can happen to get your blogs and your site shut down. That's why it's very important for you to support each other, okay? But the problem is with that is I get stories every week. I can't report on them anymore. I don't have an income. I'm really struggling to try to make it, and I really want to help you folks, but I can't report on everybody's story all the time. I get thousands of stories a month now. And I am, actual real media and anti-corruption media, but I just can't digest them all. I can't report them. I can't write on them. So the best you can do to help each other is to kind of do some of the tips that I give you, and then you'll have certain blogs and Facebook pages, and then you can support each other by liking each other's pages, by doing a little blurb maybe on your blog about their blog, and interchanging links, okay? If somebody's blog is getting ready to be shut down, you can do Control P and do a PDF, or put it in Google Docs and make a PDF of their blog so you can back it up for them. I'm not saying that if someone's maliciously defaming somebody that you should support them and that you should defame them too. I'm saying these sites that are very important, where they're exposing corruption and everybody has a right to know, okay? They are media, even though the courts, the judges, the attorneys, big media, these attorneys like Mark Rondazza and David Amon and all of these folks out there fighting against the free speech rights of anti-corruption bloggers such as me, don't think it is a free speech right. It is. You are a journalist and you are media. So keep doing what you're doing and keep reporting facts the best you can. Start a blog. You can Google free blogs. So any sort of free blog out there that you can. I use Blogger. I have some in WordPress. You can also getting your story out there by, being your own attorney and filing lawsuits. At Pro Se, I'll talk a lot more about, how you file lawsuits, filing criminal complaints, filing complaints with the Attorney General, and just kind of ways to get your story out there that way. You can do videos and load them on any video share site. Remember to title the video for what your story is about. You really have to kind of put what attorney's involved or whatever. Now, you could upload your video many times under different titles. You want to get it in the search engine so that when people are looking for this issue, or attorneys involved, or the case number, or anything you think anybody might be researching, you want that in the description of your video and in the title of your video. And then you do blog posts about the video, and you can put other titles on that, and you can do a little blurb about it, making sure you're using keywords. So don't say, the attorney went down to the lake and I couldn't believe or whatever. You say the name of the attorney, the name of the law firm, what lake, what town, what city, what court case. You have to have all of these words in there for the search engines to eat up, okay? And then once you get a main blog, you can ask your friends to maybe do a blurb, and all of the anti-corruption bloggers out there to kind of give you a link and make you nice and make everything kind of tighten up. You'll get cease and desist, you'll probably get defamation lawsuits, things like that, and we will discuss that later. And again, my videos are not to help you defame, even though I'm sure people will say whatever they say. I really don't give a shit anymore, and yeah, I cuss. Okay, I'm going to teach all of you that want to know how to be your own media and how to not be stopped, okay? So even if they ban me from the internet or whatever, I'm still going to help who I can to report on corrupt judges, corrupt law firm, corrupt grievance committees. There's so much corruption out there that there's just no way to cover it all. And for me, being an anti-corruption blogger and pretty big in the, what I call the media, I get a lot of stories and people want me to help them, but I can't, okay? The best I can do is do some videos and have you to help yourself, okay? And to be media. So basically, never do one of anything. Okay, every time you do something one, do it at least twice. If you got time, do it 5 times. Okay, so that you won't be shut down. Okay, now you have this information on all sorts of blogs and things that can't go away. Okay, and for example, Ripoff Report. After my case went up, they changed some of their wording. Ripoff Report claims that their stuff never goes away. Okay, there's a lot of sites out there who used to say even more that we'll take this and that off of our site for pay. Well, there's a lot of people out there extorting everybody, but because they were calling me an extortionist, who's really the good guy trying to help victims of corruption, a lot of people changed how they did things. So anyway, you want to do as many different free blogs as you can, and again, not telling you to defame anybody. You want to do videos, you want to do free press sites, you want to do, you can join, Huffington Post, and you can't, on these sites, you can't rant about somebody. You can't be like all complaining and cursing and whatever to be on other people's blogs. You have to report on the story, okay? So you actually tell about the story, kind of give the details of what happened and talk about it intellectually. On your own blogs, like I do, you can be very flippant. Anyway, back to Ripoff Report a minute. Ripoff Report comes up really high in the search engines and it never goes away, okay? So people trash people there all the time. And is it all true? No. The stuff that's said on Ripoff Report about me is like, whatever, okay? But people can say what they want about you, okay? They can say you got 40 legs and 3 heads and purple ears. Oh no! So, what do? You go in the corner and cry about it, you tell all your friends, right? No, there's nothing you can do about it, right? You can laugh about it, but you can't actually change anything on Ripoff Report, and especially now since my case, because they're like, oh no, I don't want to be accused of being an extortionist, which is ridiculous. So, the only thing to do on Ripoff Report is, first of all, file your consumer complaints. Title them with the name of the law firm, the name of the judge, the name of the company. Make your complaint. And don't be all like neener. Don't be nee, okay? Use names. Use name of all the attorneys, names of laws they violated. Link to your blog with proof of documents. Maybe link to videos with proof. And paint this whole picture of why they're guilty of this. Don't just get on there and say blah, blah, blah. Even though people think that's what I did, I didn't. I linked to videos, to transcripts, to hearings. I took 900 pages to court, for crying out loud, of that one blog post to prove it was true, to the best of my ability. So, anyway, and if someone on Ripoff Report then does this against you, say that's fine, okay? No problem. I'm not going to go into some hysteria and get on there and start going, and cursing is, my platform and I do it, but you don't necessarily want to go in there and just throw some hissy fit, right? You want to do a rebuttal. And in that rebuttal, you want to put documents of fact, links to your blog with facts, and proof of your side of the story, okay? You always do a rebuttal. And that way, when people come along, they go, okay, well, here's this and here's that. Even if they just say, well, this is just 2 sides, and then they walk away, okay. Most people don't look at the truth or the documents of fact. They believe their favorite blogger, okay? But there will be the people that really want to know about you, and so they Google you and they find Ripoff Report because it comes up in the top of the search engines because that's how Ripoff Report is. Then you need to have a really strong, intelligent rebuttal to the best of your ability that says who you are or the documented facts of whatever it is they're talking about, okay? So Ripoff Report is a good tool either way. Any site that's coming up strong in the search engines is a good thing. A lot of people that try to counter me in search engine reputation management use tons of sites out there. LinkedIn, and there's Yahoo Local, and there's just tons of ways to get in the search engines. However, when you're flooding the search engines with, I am great, my business is great, here's my address, I am wonderful, tends to be a little bit boring for one, but flooding the search engines with documented facts and truth and several different blogs, it's a little bit different than just the generic, just trying to flood the search engines with the name of your business, which is what a lot of these lawyers and people try to do to counteract what I'm doing. Anyway, we're going to talk about this subject a whole lot more because, sorry to tell you folks this, but nobody really cares about you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to care about every one of you. But I would say there's 10 zillion million billion, and that's a number, people out there who are victims of corruption. I can't help you all. The only thing you can do is help yourself and tell your story. So instead of telling your story all the time to everybody who will listen, get it down once. Get it in video. Type it up. Write it. You have all your facts, and get your blogs. Repeat your blogs on different sites. Do a PDF of your blogs. Also, I recommend that you turn your blog into an ebook and publish it as an ebook. Write a book about your topic and put an ISBN number, put it out there as that. There's a lot of ways to get the proof out there, including the court docket. So all of these different ways gets the proof out there of the corruption that you've experienced. Now they're going to try to shut you down from every angle. Anti-corruption bloggers will have First Amendment rights, okay? This is going to happen, and I, for one, am making a firm stand for that. However, there will be those who try to constantly shut you down. If you have kids, they'll try to take your kids. They might get you for things as simple as noise pollution. Small town cops will set you up. They'll get protective orders so you can't write about them on the blog. They'll do whatever they can to silence you. However, you still must make a stand, and if this is happening to someone you know, then another blogger should report on your story, okay? Again, not about defaming this person and going, hey, we're going to get him too. It's not like, let's gang up and hurt somebody. Let's gang up and help somebody, right? You are media, and I'm going to show you how to get strong in the search engines and stay there. Also, check out archive.org, I think that's what it is. You can look at historical websites as they were before. So when they try to shut down these blogs, you can find them before. And ironically enough, free speech attorneys such as Mark Randazza is really good at shutting down blogs and just getting a court order to just come in and just shut him down, then fighting for other people to get him up. So even when that happens, you can check it out in the history. What you do online never ever really goes away, which is bad for true defamation. And it's bad for libel. But you know what? This is kind of a serious thing, because a lot of people, people have committed suicide, and bad things happen to people that when they get attacked online, cyberbullies and things. And I want to talk to them, kind of addressing them in this way too, the people out there that feel so bad because people hate them, right? They might hate their lifestyle, they might hate who they are, call them fat, call them horrible, call them, attack them and say they've done all these things they didn't really do. And that kind of defamation and hurt and cyberbullying ruins lives, right? But I'm saying to you, stand in your power and go, hey, I might as well have said I had 16 heads, right? It's not true. But all of my people are reading it, so what do? Well, you can spend tons of money and sue them and try to remove it from the internet, and that'll just explode it more and make more people look at it. You could plead with the sites, please take it down, or you could plead with them. You can fight and yell and scream and even go so far as, yes, some people end up killing themselves over these things. And that's very sad. However, what I recommend you do is a rebuttal. Do a video with your side of the story. Do a statement of facts. If you're in a court case, do some sort of declaration and get it notarized and put it on the docket. Do whatever you can to show your side of the story with as much proof as you can, and then give it to God. Just let go. Okay? Don't eat this up, this non-truth about you, this injustice. Tell your side, and then let it go. People will go there, and they'll look at both sides, and they'll be able to see the truth for themselves. Don't let it don't let the lie become a part of you, okay? Anyway, we're going to talk a lot more about anti-corruption blogging, about the fact that you are media and getting you found in the search engines, and making sure that corrupt attorneys, such as, in my opinion, is Mark Randazza, don't come in and just shut you down. All right? Peace and love to you all, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take care.